In September 2020, during the height of the pandemic, my siblings and I got sick from the coronavirus. At the time, we were living in Florida with our aunts and uncles. We were all confirmed with COVID. However, I mainly worried for our youngest and our elder sister. Our youngest was 5 at the time, and I had read article after article about how COVID-19 hit the elderly and children the hardest. As for my elder sister, she was bedridden for days at a time and had the highest fever of us siblings. During those long days of terror and prayers, my mom and her siblings got into a fight. Angry with our mom, my aunts and uncles had decided to take it out on me and my siblings. Without going into the specifics, the fight ended with them sending us away with whatever we could pack into our minivan within 48 hours. They kicked us out first thing in the morning, just 4 sick kids and their mom who had no idea where to go. In an attempt to beat Hurricane Sally, we weren't able to stop until we could find a hotel out of its range. I remember with a hazy memory, my mom buying bottle after bottle of 24-hour energy to stay awake, and my sister trying to convince our mother to let her drive despite her growing fever. When I was lucid enough to think, I remember gazing behind at the storm on our tail. I wondered whether or not we'd end up stuck in a motel for weeks with no end, the hurricane battering at our door, while my siblings and I languished with an illness with no cure. We traveled east to west, going through states like Alabama and Louisiana. We finally ended up in Houston, where we rented out a motel. We stayed at that motel for over a month. To this day, I still don't know how much my elder sister and mother paid to keep a roof over our heads. With no utensils or cookware on hand, we subsisted on noodles and microwavables. We reused plates and rationed what little supplies we had. We were stuck in that little motel, packed in like sardines for over 30 days. We were too scared to head out in fear of getting sick again. I remember that 5 people in a 1-bedroom room weren't allowed, yet the manager at the desk had looked the other way. Said action was one of the first acts of kindness we had experienced. The second was when my mom was offered a job in a county called Fort Bend. She searched for weeks until she finally landed a stable source of income during the hectic days of the pandemic. Amid store closures and supply shortages, jobs were tight, money was sparser. My sister would scout the surrounding town for a more permanent housing solution. We were able to find and set up a base in Rosenberg, Texas. Throughout the next coming months, we found ourselves in a community we could rely on. My sister's co-workers would donate school supplies and clothes to us. They would also point out resources like food pantries and stores to buy cheap furniture. My counselors helped me with schooling, and with their help, I gained a scholarship to help pay for my college. My classmates drove me when my mom couldn't drop me off. Our neighbors would offer to watch my younger siblings and always looked out for me. The most memorable experience was when the local food pantry, Helping Hands, took off the restrictions for getting food during the pandemic. All you had to do was fill out a survey and drive by. They asked no questions. They just did their best to help. To this day, those volunteers are some of the nicest people I've had the pleasure to meet. They continuously strive to make our life here better each time we visit. Slowly, the feeling of distrust in others faded, and Fort Bend became our home. For me, Fort Bend County is precious. Despite the global pandemic and the hardships everyone faced, people still found it in them to be kind.